You know, sometimes life throws curveballs that can knock you flat on your back. And that's exactly where I found myself not too long ago. I was Robert Mitchell, a single dad with more bills than I knew what to do with, and a little girl, Lily, who was the light of my life and my constant source of worry. On most days, I felt like I was drowning, barely keeping my head above water as I juggled long hours and sleepless nights. People around me, they didn't see that struggle. They saw a man who was failing, who was broken. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was letting Lily down. I remember the whispers, those hushed critiques from friends and family. Why don't you just get it together, Robert? It stung, you know. Deep down, I was terrified. Terrified that I wouldn't be able to give her the life she deserved. As I sat in that courtroom, heart pounding, I could feel the weight of the world pressing down on my shoulders. And there I was, facing the very real possibility of jail time, all because I made a desperate choice stealing medication to help Lily when she got sick. I had crossed a line I thought I'd never cross. But in that moment of darkness, something unexpected happened. My daughter stepped up. That fearless little girl with all her innocence and wisdom, she looked at a hardened judge and promised to heal her. While I sat there feeling more lost than ever. Somehow, against all odds, it felt like she was about to change everything, not just for me, but for everyone in that room. It all came crashing down the day I was called into the office, a place I had poured my heart into blood, sweat, and tears. I remember sitting in that sterile, fluorescent lit room, the walls closing in on me. My boss leaned back, fingers, steepled eyes narrowed like a hawk, eyeing a rabbit. "Robert," he said, a smirk creeping onto his face. "You're a good worker, but we simply can't overlook this incident." My chest tightened. I didn't need the details. I knew what he was hinting at, the moment of desperation that drove me to steal the medicine for Lily. It's theft, and theft doesn't belong in this company. I felt my pulse racing, anger flaring. "That was no theft," I shot back, my voice trembling with emotion. "It was survival. I did what any father would do." But my words fell flat. The judgment had already been passed. I watched as he turned, waving me off like I was trash. "Save it, Robert. We need to protect our reputation." Just like that, I was reduced to a cautionary tale meant to scare others from taking risks. Humiliated, laid bare before my colleagues, their eyes darting between pity and amusement. I staggered out, breathless and enraged. How could they not see to them I was nothing more than a failure, a punchline? But deep down, beneath the shame and confusion, something ignited. They thought they had crushed me. They underestimated me. I clenched my fists, a slow burn rising in my gut. I was done being the punchline. I would show them what desperation turns into when fueled by love. This wasn't the end of my fight. It was merely the beginning. You know, it's funny how life throws you curveballs just when you think you're starting to get the hang of things. Here's Robert, a father already grappling with the weight of the world, trying to be both mum and dad, working long hours just to keep the lights on and his little girl fed. And then, bam, he finds himself sitting in that courtroom, heart pounding, greeted not with understanding but with suspicion. Imagine the frustration. Here's a man driven to desperation, yet the law sees only a criminal, a thief. It's like they think that stealing medicine in a snowstorm is the equivalent of shoplifting candy bars. Newsflash, it's not. And then there's Judge Catherine Stern as Granite, whose own world is collapsing under the weight of regret and guilt, trapped in her past like a moth in a jar. She's sitting there judging Robert, not realizing that she's judging herself too. Can you even believe the irony, a judge drowning in legal protocols while her heart aches for justice? But let's be real, honour and law don't often hang out at the same party. When Lily steps up, fearless as ever, it's like a good punchline, unexpected and a little absurd. You can practically hear the smirks and murmurs in that courtroom. What a little girl thinks she can heal a hardened judge. It's so ludicrous, you almost want to laugh. But there's Lily blissfully unaware of the collective eye roll. Sure, the adults are busy rolling their eyes, but deep down, somewhere under all their skepticism, are little flickers of hope. Because that's how it goes, right? You pour every ounce of determination into a situation that feels impossible, barely holding on to the belief that anything could change. And boy, does it hurt when it doesn't pay off right away. It's gritty, it's frustrating, you question every decision. But then, just when you're about to throw in the towel, you see a glimmer. It could be the tiniest moment, a shared smile, a flicker of compassion from the chaos, and for a heartbeat. Just maybe you think, what if? And isn't that what keeps us going, the silly hope that maybe, just maybe, there's a miracle waiting on the other end? The gavel strikes once, twice. Time freezes. Robert's heart sinks. The walls of the courtroom close in around him. He feels every gaze, every whisper, it weighs like a stone. What do I do now? The question hangs in the air, heavy with despair. Hope feels like a distant memory. But then, a small voice, pure and unfaltering, breaks through. Judge Westbrook, I can heal you. Lily. Her eyes, bright as stars, pierce through the darkness surrounding him. Can she? He wonders. The courtroom shifts. Murmurs ripple through the crowd, some dismissing her, others catching a glimmer of possibility. Judge Catherine's brow furrows. She's caught off guard. And in that moment, Robert sees something in her, a flicker of understanding. What if she can heal? An unexpected stirring within. Moments slide like cracked glass, but there's a sudden shift. Catherine's voice is firm, yet trembling. I'm postponing the sentence. What? Hope and dread collide in Robert's chest. This is a chance, a fragile thing, but a chance nonetheless. Lily turns to him, her innocence blazing with unyielding belief. We can do this, Daddy. We have to believe. He looks into her eyes, her courage igniting a spark within. Believe. That single word echoes in his mind, tearing through the clouds that have darkened his spirit. In the depths of the storm, light breaks through. Suddenly, this isn't just about saving himself or Lily, it's about healing scars deeper than the law. With each breath, he feels strength returning. His doubt is a weight heavy on his shoulders, and yet the corners of his mouth twitch upward. We're unstoppable. He whispers not just to Lily, but to himself. And as they walk out hand in hand, the world feels different. The chaos of doubt behind them, a path of purpose ahead. It's not just a promise, it's a revolution rippling in the silence. With each step, Robert uncovers something sacred, a belief he thought lost, reigniting like a flame nurtured by the tiniest spark. This is where the journey shifts, from despair to hope. And together they'll make miracles happen. As the dust settled after chaos rippled through the hospital corridors, Robert stood by Lily's side, uncertainty gripping his heart. The waiting room remained dim, punctuated occasionally by whispers of hushed prayers. But there, in the midst of worry and fear, Lily radiated an unshakable confidence that sparked something deep within him. Days passed like hours until the moment arrived. The fluorescent lights flickered, illuminating Judge Catherine as she slowly awakened, her eyes fluttering open, revealing a glimmer of hope that illuminated the dim surroundings. The relief washed over Robert like a warm wave. He could hardly believe that this fragile woman, once cloaked in despair, was awakening as if resurrected by their belief in one another. In the boardroom, weeks later, everything felt surreal. Robert, clad in a crisp shirt that felt foreign against his skin, glanced around the polished oak table at his new colleagues. A headline flashed beneath the glow of a television screen reading, "Judge Catherine Westbrook's extraordinary recovery inspires a community to believe." He felt a twinge of disbelief meet emotion. Through the tangled web of struggles and scars, they'd rewritten their narratives. Then came the moment, a meeting of minds and hearts. As Robert shook hands with Judge Catherine, a quiet smirk crossed his face. It was more than a victory. It was an acknowledgement of hard-fought battles, and a silent promise that they would carry their scars with them, not as burdens, but as reminders of the hope that had once flickered in darkness. This triumph didn't erase the pain of the past. Instead, it painted over it with colours of resilience and love. A new chapter began, laced with the understanding that while life continued to unfold, each scar was now a badge of honour, making every success worth its weight in gold. As we conclude this journey, it's worth reflecting on the profound transformations that took place not just for Robert and Lily, but for Judge Catherine as well. Throughout these harrowing events, we witnessed the power of belief and the extraordinary capacity for healing that can emerge from love and empathy. The courtroom, which once stood as a symbol of judgment, morphed into a sanctuary of hope, opening pathways to understanding that transcend mere legalities. Catherine's evolution from a hardened figure of authority to a woman rekindled with purpose reminds us that our perceptions of power can often blind us to the human experience. We lean so heavily on the scales of justice that we sometimes forget the heart beating beneath the robes, the heart that can remind us of our shared vulnerabilities. Did Lily truly heal Catherine with her promise? Or was it Catherine who chose to heal when she welcomed belief back into her life? This story raises questions that are anything but simple. Is revenge a justified response to hurt, or can forgiveness and the hope of rebuilding be a more potent force? Can we truly restore trust when it seems lost forever? As we walk away from this tale, let's keep these questions at the forefront. Share your thoughts. Is revenge ever justified, or does it only perpetuate a cycle of pain? What experiences have shaped your understanding of justice and empathy? Let's ignite a conversation in the comments that lingers just as long as the lessons we've explored.